Hello everyone, making this video about Dark and Darker. A lot of people trying out the game because it went free to play. I'll go over what you can do very quickly to enhance your starter experience. I'm not going to tell you how to play every single class. I'm not going to tell you like the optimal gameplay. I'm just going to tell you what you probably should do as a new player. So make your character, pick whatever you want. It's up to you. If you're free to play, you only get one character slot, so either don't get too attached to it and delete it to try out a new class, or buy the whole game, or take a bit more time. But let's say you get in. Here's one I prepared earlier, My Fighter. You go in. First thing you're going to want to do when you load in is go to the quest log. You're going to want to hit accept all. This is just so you can start your quests rolling. You can read through them if you want, but you really just want to be on the quest so you can get credit, right? After that, the next thing you're going to want to do is go to the merchants. I'll talk about these later, but the most important one is the Squire as a new player. Go to the Squire, go to base gear up here, and then you can set what you start your dungeon experience with. You're going to want to take in 2 potions and 2 bandages if your class doesn't start with it automatically. Some do, some don't. And then you're going to want to... There's nothing wrong with putting on like some boots, for example, taking a throwing axe, taking a 2-handed longsword, or like if you're a ranger, you don't start with a sword, but certain classes like casters need a casting like instrument or weapon to cast their spells, so make sure you've got that, or just pick what you want. You'll figure it all out. So yep, this is me. After you're happy with what you've got, set base gear and equip base gear. You want to do these 2 things. It puts it on. Wowie, perfect. So we're in it to win it now. After that, what you're going to want to do is you can go to class, go to perk and skill. You can read through your perks and skills and your abilities and stuff like that. 2 easy, and yeah, I'm going to go with, let's just go with Sword Mastery, pretty generic. Something I forgot to mention in the video was if you want to add your friends, go to playlist. And then you can go to my invitations for your received invitations, like friend invitations, or send invitation. You be like, wow, I want to add Arc Voodle, and you go, wow, send an invite. And then you're going to want to go to select server. I'm EU Central. Then queue up the dungeon. As solo, you can queue into the duo and trio maps. They do change 3 minutes, so it's a bit of a rotation. You see it up here as well as down here. So if you don't like Goblin Caves, you can wait for it to go to Frost Mountain, etc. But if you queue into a duo or trio queue as a solo, you're going to be like 1 against 2 or 1 against 3 people potentially. So probably the best thing is just to queue for normals. You can queue for high roll if you want later on, but that's if you're free to play, you can't do that. But down the line, yeah, the loot's better in there, but you have to pay to get in. So let's say we're queuing the Goblin Caves right now. Okay, so you're fully loaded in the dungeon. What's the plan now? Well, it's just find stuff, kill stuff, loot, and get out. So in that order, hopefully. So wow. Hello there. Where are you at, mate? There's different enemies in each area. They all have different attacks. You can avoid them. You can block them if you want. But basically, just kill them. Then when they're dead, different weapons, different damage, stuff like that. Wowie, a ring. Lovely. Equip that bad boy, and we can sell that later on. There is also an optional step of dying in the dungeon. And if that happens, guess it's time to re-queue another. But if you don't die, skip this step. We go around, we continue our murder spree, killing spiders and bats. We loot some chests, and you can equip whatever you get. You can do whatever you want, fill your inventory up. What you loot is up to you. And yeah, and then eventually what we're going to do is we're going to start looking for an exit. There's also a very important piece of Dark and Darker, and that's communication, negotiation, and diplomacy. You're going to find other players, and sometimes they're not going to be very receptive. Hello? Hello? Alright, so what we're doing now is we're waiting to get out of the dungeon. There's a lot of ways to get out. There's lifts, exits, portals, rafts in certain maps. But for this map, if you look at the map right there, there's this blue little staircase. That means that's an exit. There'll be a lot of blue things on the map, so keep an eye out for that. So how to tell is this is currently shut. This is not opened. So when it opens, sometimes the torches come on if there are torches, which we can't see here, but when this gate opens, you can go through. If it's caved in, that means someone's gone through. These are one use only, so if you're on a team, you're going to have to find either separate exits or find a group exit, like a group of portals. Something important to keep in mind while you're looting is that if you look at the map right there above it, there's going to be a timer going down. When this timer starts getting low, the map's going to introduce some sort of hazard to say, oh, you gotta go. In this map, the caverns will shake, doing a very small amount of damage and slowing you. However, in the last, I think it's minute or 30 seconds, that cave is going to be pissed, and it's going to start shaking. On other maps, there's bugs that might start hurting you a lot more and killing you. You start freezing to death. Basically, that's your timer to get out. So you probably want to start looking for an exit before that happens, so you're not just trapped in the dungeon. If you do get trapped in a dungeon, you do lose everything. So I need to get out to keep this stuff. Now the exit's opened. We can tell because it's no, the gate's obviously opened. We can go through and leave. Perfect. You can even spectate other people if you want to see. There's only one guy left. We can leave the lobby now. So let's say you do get out of the dungeon and you don't have any mishaps. We can go to the vendors here. Certain vendors only want certain things, but the general rule of thumb is that the armorer, for example, the armorer will take basically everything that's not doodads, and the collector will take all the doodads. So you can just go to this guy and go, oh, I don't want this stuff. I want to sell it all, which in normals you probably should early on. Just sell everything. That's not like a... You can keep quest items if you want, but just sell everything. The hotkey to do this is Alt left click, and we're even going to take off some of the gear we had because we don't want to go too high eye level. Because while I'm selling this, I'll talk about it. If you have eye level that's over 25, you can check by seeing at the bottom right here. If you have that, you will get matched up against players who are also at really high eye level. So you probably want to be at low eye level so you don't get matched up with those players and just get destroyed. Equipment as well, like potions and stuff like that. If they're green, that also lays you down. You go to collector now for the doodads. So make sure your gear score is 24 or below, not 25. It's going to be 24 or below. You can then go back to the squire and equip your base gear to get all your stuff back. So yeah, easy. We keep all our stuff. As you go up in levels, and I think it's just levels now. It might be quests as well. You'll get more stuff in the squire as well. So you'll get like gloves and a helmet eventually. So don't worry about that. So now that we've got a bit of gold. If you level up, you can get more perks. Lovely. Like at 5, 10, 15. But until then, you just keep dungeoneering. But you've leveled up, you've got a bit of gold, what can you do? Now, here's my stash tabs. If you have the Legendary Edition, or the basic, you bought the game, you'll have a shared stash tab. You won't have this if you're free to play. You'll have a stash tab that's unique to the character. So what you're going to want to do is you want to go to the treasurer and buy a ton of bags. You do this because gold, each inventory slot can only hold 10 gold, but if you buy a coin purse, it can hold 50 gold. This will be relevant later on if you're making a ton of gold, because it'll just completely clog your stash tab otherwise, right? And in the stash tab, you can put whatever you want. You can put potions. You can put items. You can keep whatever you want in there. Or quest items, for example, are really good. I'm not going to go through what every single quest item is in the game, but you'll see it. We go to like I think the Leathersmith wants like leather caps or something early on. No, I'll find one just to show it. See, like this guy wants like campfires. You have to find campfires in the dungeon. You can't like just use the squire's gear to do this. But if you find campfires in the dungeon, you can get fill items. Deliver items. You can deliver 1 out of 5. Keep going. But that's what you basically want to do. I think there's another one here. Like this guy's got one that like you need a bunch of bones and rusted broken swords and stuff like that. Certain quests are only for certain maps, like you can only do Frozen Gaze and Ice Mountain, for example, but it's something to keep in mind of. You don't have to do the quests, but they give you a fair bit of EXP, and it's fun to do. Other than that, yeah, just keep queuing up, smash it out. Yeah, try out everything, see what you enjoy. The game's pretty fun. Yeah, don't get discouraged sometimes. Sometimes you're just going to die. Sometimes you're going to get ran down by PvPers looking for blood. It is what it is. You just want to get into the dungeon. Step 1, get into the dungeon. Step 2, loot. And step 3, get out of the dungeon. Alright? But thanks for watching.